I just don't know why I thought that this part of the journey would be a lot easier than the rest of it, because it's actually, in some cases, a little bit more difficult. What's up guys, it's your girl Nicole.Young, and I'm back with another video, and this one I wanted to kind of give you guys a post bootcamp update. I know that a lot of times when we're seeing people go through the process of bootcamp, it's really awesome to see them finish bootcamp, but what I am learning is that there is a lot that goes on after bootcamp that you don't really always see. And I kind of just want to share with you guys what I've been dealing with, going through, learning in this last 2.5 months that I have been graduated from bootcamp, because I haven't really shared it that much yet with you all. So for starters, around the time I started bootcamp, I had applied for and received a fellowship with the bootcamp that I had attended. So basically what a fellowship looks like, it's kind of like a TA, like a teaching assistant, where I am helping the next cohort that's going through this process. So I am kind of like a middleman between the students and the instructors, and there's about 6 or 7 other people doing the same thing with that cohort. So I get assigned to a small group of students, and it's my job of supporting and assisting those people through the program in any way that they might need it. So that could look like a lot of different things. Some things is actually supporting technically, like giving technical advice, helping people debug their code, but sometimes it's also just checking in with them, making sure they're taking care of themselves, making sure that they have the proper support that they need to finish the program. And it's been interesting, to say the least. There are also some other jobs and tasks that I am assigned to as a fellow, and overall I would say the experience has been cool because I'm getting paid and being able to work on my next steps at the same time. So I'm very grateful that I've had that opportunity, because I think it would be a lot more difficult right now if I had no steady income coming in. I started the fellowship about 2 weeks after finishing my bootcamp. So when I first graduated, that first week, I think I slept like 2/3 of the time. You just don't realize how much sleep you're losing and how much stress your body goes through in an intensive program like that. And so my body just needed the sleep. Then my intention for the second week was to jump right into what I was doing before bootcamp, and that was creating lots of content and just like trying to find, ways to bring in streams of income while I figured out what my next steps were going to be. And I did that. I tried to do that. So tried to jump right back into it. I felt flat on my face with that. I realized I wasn't ready to get right back into things, and I definitely wasn't ready to get back into things at the level that I was at before, because I hadn't been creating content consistently throughout my process in bootcamp, and a lot has changed. I just realized that the job hunt entails so much more than what I thought it would, and so I quickly realized that I wasn't going to be able to do everything. I wasn't going to be able to conduct a solid job hunt and produce frequent content and do my fellowship job adequately, and live my life like outside of all of those things. I knew that wasn't gonna happen. So I had to take a step back for a while, and it was tough to do that, because I felt like, man, I need to be sharing like all of this with you guys, and I also really need to get my stuff together so that I can really start finding the job of my dreams. And it took me a minute, but after taking some time away to like read a little bit more, journal a little bit more, and really like reconnect with myself, I realized that like what I was pushing myself toward, like the direction I was pushing myself into, wasn't actually the direction that was right for me. So to explain that, like through the process of boot camp, I know like when I had first started boot camp, my intention was just to gain more skills in development in software engineering so that I could like do more of what I was already doing with freelancing. But somewhere in that process, I got this thing in my head where I was like, I need to get a real job. I need to get a real like tech job, a real software engineering position somewhere. And part of that, I think I felt like I had to get a job at a company for validation, like the validation it would give me that, oh, I am officially like a real software engineer. And that's imposter syndrome. Let me just say that. But also, I think a part of that was like just like collaborating in groups with the partners that I had in group projects and like all that. Everyone was kind of mirroring the same intentions of like, I can't wait to get a job after this, and like the job hunt and like really grinding in that area. And like the more I kind of put my head down to focus on the job hunt stuff, the, you know, setting up your LinkedIn and getting your resume ready and like doing the searching and researching of companies and trying to network with different people, the more I did those things, like the more I just like didn't love it. I didn't want to do it. And it just didn't feel right. And so when I finally like really gave myself time to check in with myself, I realized that maybe it's not that I need to go in this direction. Maybe I need to like go back to my original goals of like going back to freelancing or trying to do my own thing. If I do work for a company, and like I'm not saying that I'm not job hunting anymore, I'm just more so saying that I'm being extremely more selective. And in the meantime, I'm going to work on things that I like to do. So content and reimagining what freelancing would look like, what scaling freelancing would look like for me, what my current capacity is, what types of services I want to offer, like really fleshing all those things out. And I'm gonna kind of work on those things while I, you know, also keep my options open in terms of like working for a company. Because if I was going to work for a company, it would have to be a company that was very, very aligned with the values that I have. And not just like nice to have values like, you know, integrity and honesty and transparency and inclusion and those types of things. But one thing I've been like pretty obsessed with lately is asynchronous work. And that's a whole nother video for another day. But the idea of asynchronous work is kind of like you may have a team of people, but they are able to work and get their jobs done in times, in locations, and in the ways that work well for them. The idea of a 9-to-5 is actually very antiquated, and it dates back to like the agricultural and industrial eras when we needed like the daylight hours. But yeah, asynchronous work, I've been using this tool called Sunsama, which has been really helpful in helping me to like stay focused while I am working and get so much done throughout the day. And I was reading up on their team dynamics, which is something that I do when I really love a software. They actually have a very small team. I think it's like 6 people. They all live globally, like different places in the world. And they work asynchronously. They have one team meeting all week, and then the rest of the time they work asynchronously on their tasks. I think that's so cool. And if I was going to work for a company, it would be one that was like that. But those are harder to find right now. So I'm just keeping my options open, but I do think that like dream job that I have in my head of like being able to be in full control of my time, my location, and what my work looks like, I think I can do that. I really do feel confident that I'm capable of making it work and making it happen and being very successful at it. Yeah, and that's where we are. So right now, in this present moment, I'm still completing my fellowship. I think there's about 3 to 4 weeks left at the time that you guys see this, for me to finish that up. Also, going to continue to create content and to pour into this community as much as I can. Make sure you use the link below to join our Facebook group. I'm in the process of revamping that and just using it to its utmost potential so that I can, help as many of you as possible get into tech, get into coding, or, gain new tech skills for the sake of entrepreneurship as I can. Another thing that I will be doing is just fleshing out like what my capacity is and what my dream job would look like in terms of revamping my freelancing business and like actually making it more closer to like a legit business, because I think most of the freelancing I was doing was really on the fly and kind of random, and I didn't really market for it. I didn't really brand myself with it, and I think I want to change that, and I want to actually do it full force. So working on that as we speak, and of course I will be sharing every little step of the way that I kind of work through that, because I want you guys to be able to see it happen. So I will definitely be sharing as much as I can of that process and just sharing the things that I learn as I like really ramp it up. So, I guess what I'll say to wrap this up is like the journey post bootcamp does not look anything like I thought it would. And if you are someone in the same position, or maybe you're just starting your journey in bootcamp, like just keep an open mind as you work through the process, because things will probably change and they won't always look the way you thought they would. But that doesn't mean that the time you spent is a waste, and it doesn't mean that you can't turn a very weird and confusing part of the journey into something awesome and beautiful, and that is what I hope to do moving forward. So don't be discouraged, and I'm always here, happy to answer your questions and to just share and support you in any way that I can. So as always, guys, thanks for listening to me rant and go on and on about post bootcamp stuff, but I love you and I'm rooting for you, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Peace.